So Elder Scrolls Legends is out, and probably by this point anybody that signed up for the beta has an invite. So I'm guessing that if you aren't playing the game right now, you have no idea what I'm talking about and are wondering why the heck I'm going to try and compare a game like Skyrim to Hearthstone. Well, Elder Scrolls Legends is exactly what Hearthstone is to World of Warcraft is to Skyrim. Something like that. Anyways, there's a lot of cool new things that they're doing, a lot of similarities, a lot of differences, so let's go ahead and start with some of these differences. In Hearthstone, you get daily quests that you can complete for gold rewards. In Elder Scrolls Legends, you get daily quests that you can complete for gold rewards. In Hearthstone, there are such game modes as Versus Play, single-player adventures, and arena runs. In Elder Scrolls Legends, there are such game modes as Versus Play, single-player adventures, and arena runs. In Hearthstone, you can buy packs of cards for 100 in-game gold. You can then check the card's rarity before flipping them by highlighting them. In Elder Scrolls Legends, you can buy packs of cards for 100 in-game gold. You can then check the card's rarity by highlighting them before flipping them. In Hearthstone, you can view your card collection as organized by class, and then build decks and save them on the right side of the screen. In Elder Scrolls Legends, you can view your card collection as organized by class, and then build and save decks on the right side of the screen. Actually, those were all similarities. I am a filthy liar. So, you probably get it. On the surface, Elder Scrolls Legends looks a lot like a Hearthstone ripoff. Well, it's not just a Hearthstone ripoff, it's also a Magic the Gathering ripoff, with some new things thrown into the mix. So what are some of the things that they bring from these games? Well, as you can see, from Hearthstone they bring 30 card arena runs, but in Constructed they actually bring in 50 to 70 card decks, so now there's variable deck limits, which will make such strategies like Mill, if that exists in this game, very different than it is to play in Hearthstone. But of course, the arena runs in Elder Scrolls Legends are still 30 cards, and as you win games in Arena, not only do you work towards a better arena reward, but you also add new cards into your deck as you go, which is adds a new layer of complexity to the arena game mode. In addition, multi-classing is a thing in Elder Scrolls Legends. Much like in Magic the Gathering, there are 5 primary attributes. I can't think of the names of them, I just call them the colors, like I'm sure everybody else is going to anyways. And you can make monocolors and multicolors, and then they have multicolor specific cards and neutral cards that you can mix and match, just like in Hearthstone. But how about the gameplay? Now this is where Elder Scrolls Legends takes a bit of a different turn from both of those games. Unlike in Magic, where you choose what creatures you want to attack with and your opponent chooses how to defend, and you can play spells at any stage, in this game it's more like Hearthstone, where you choose specifically what creatures you want to attack with against what targets. Unlike Hearthstone, however, there are 2 lanes, and each lane might have special effects depending on the game mode that you're playing in. In the standard versus mode, I believe that it is always the left lane is standard and the right lane is shadow, which means that when you play a creature it gains cover, it has protection from other creatures until he can attack, which makes cards like the Rogue's 2/2 deal damage to your opponent, draw a coin kind of a card much more interesting in a game like Elder Scrolls Legends than in Hearthstone. In terms of value, you get a whole lot of new kinds of interesting things. There's a card in Elder Scrolls Legends that is a 9/1 that the 3-mana 5/1 Magma Rager in Hearthstone is absolute garbage, but if you can play it with stealth on the first turn, now you might be able to deal 9 damage to his face, or at the very least be able to remove 1 guard creature of your choice, unless if your opponent can play an effect or a spell to remove that minion. So it makes creature effects and spell removal a lot more valuable. In addition to this, you also have the new prophecy system, where as you take damage, your runes are revealed and you draw a card. If the card's special text reads prophecy, then that means that that card can be cast immediately. So if you have a prophecy spell that says deal 4 damage, you can now destroy whatever creature is about to attack and kill you, or kill one of your creatures, which can completely change the course of the game, can lose games and win games, and it means that you have to be a lot more careful with both your order of attacking your opponent and how much damage you specifically want to do at every turn. If your opponent has no hand, and you're about to give him 3 cards because of the damage you might do, maybe you only want to give him so many cards because you can then kill him the next turn for sure. It kind of gives a new mechanic to overkill. In addition to some of the standard text from Hearthstone, you've got your taunts, you've got your divine shields, you've got your stealths, and you have your battle cries, but you also have a few new effects, one of which is Breakthrough, which I think is a very interesting effect. I can talk about that more later, but basically what it is when you deal damage to a creature, the remaining damage goes to your opponent's face. You're also missing the hero powers from Hearthstone. In this game, there is no action that you can perform by default without having cards in your hand. But they've introduced new aura cards. I forget what the term is off the top of my head, but they are cards that exist permanently on the board after you play them until either your opponent removes them with a special effect, or you use up their effect, or some of them will just last indefinitely. And some of these cards are really interesting. You'll have 3-use buff cards, or you'll just have permanent buff cards that exist forever after you play them, which kind of completely changes how the rate at which you can build tempo, which is very interesting to me. And you also are missing weapon slots. So rather than equipping weapons to your character, you have to equip weapons to a creature so it acts like any other buff. But because of new effects like Breakthrough, those weapon buffs can be really powerful. One thing that Elder Scrolls Legends is severely lacking on is art style. You're going to be looking at that candle there on the side of the screen for a very long time. I mean, look at that thing. It looks like jizz. I don't know why that's there. Get rid of it. Make this thing a little bit more colorful, or do something with it. I know some people prefer it for not having the cartoony style of Hearthstone, but Hearthstone has a very defined, bright, visually inviting kind of a style that I personally really like, and I'm not saying that Elder Scrolls Legends needs to be that, but for all the people out there that really like the creativity they put into the Hearthstone placemats, the Hearthstone boards, Elder Scrolls Legends ain't got that yet. And it kind of needs it. It needs a little bit more variation, a little bit more just pizzazz, both with the boards and I think with the card design. The art is beautiful, but the cards themselves are nothing but the art. That's kind of a thing that is in the Elder Scrolls universe in general, but hopefully with Legends they're going to be able to take a few risks and maybe come up with some new visual aesthetics. One thing you saw earlier was the new card upgrade system, in which sometimes as you level up there are certain cards in your collection that will be upgraded. Sometimes you get a choice, sometimes it just happens automatically. And from a design standpoint that sounds really cool, and I can't wait to see the new ways in which I can upgrade the cards that I have. But as having experience playing Hearthstone, it's a little bit scary in the sense that if I choose the wrong upgrade, am I going to now have to wait until I open that card in the new pack and then wait longer until I level up to be able to upgrade that card into the correct thing or now the deck limit is you can have up to 3 of one card in your deck, so maybe even 3 times just for making card upgrade mistakes like that. I don't know. Really cool on the surface. I don't know how that's going to work late game, but something definitely worth checking out. You also get to choose what race your character is, which determines what special bonus you get when receiving rewards. So I chose the orc. You can see my little orc picture over there somewhere. There? Which way? One way. You can see my little orc guy, and that means that I have an increased likelihood of drawing orc cards either from packs or as bonus rewards from story missions, maybe from arena rewards. Not sure specifically where those bonuses take effect, but theoretically I will be getting more orc cards than other people. And I've always been a fan of the tribes. I like the tribe decks in Hearthstone. Always liked trying to experiment with murlocs and pirates, so I thought, hey, I'll give orcs a try. If you play as Argonians, you'll get cards that try and play into control decks. If you play Nords, you'll try and get face decks. If you play Wood Elves, you'll get cards for combo decks. And if you play Red Guards, then you'll get more weapons. It's kind of a way to get a little bit more control over the cards that you get, which is pretty cool, because one of the most frustrating things I know in trying to do deck building in Hearthstone is having a deck idea that you want to make, but you don't have the cards for it, and you just can't do it yet, because you don't have what you need. But theoretically, in Elder Scrolls Legends, getting those specific cards for the decks that you want to play should be easy. Now, what you're watching clips of is my first ever single player arena run. They do have a single player mode for arena in which you play against computers. You have to beat 8 NPCs, and then you can go on to one final 9th boss NPC. The 8 NPCs you can fight in any order. They will show you what colored decks they are, so you can kind of choose which ones you think you'll have the best chance of winning at. You can afford to lose 3 times, and when you finally either beat the arena run or lose out of it, you will get your arena rewards. I think I'm going to skip ahead to the end of this boss fight and poof, just like that, we'll get to the end, and you can see a sample arena run. I unfortunately did not beat this guy. I was 1 turn away from it, frustratingly enough, but I had a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to trying out the multiplayer arena runs and see how that goes. But I think the single player arena run is probably going to be where I'm going to spend most of my time in Elder Scrolls Legends, at least until I get a better feel for how the meta works, if there is a meta. I know there's not a meta yet, but whether you want there to be or not, I'm sure there will be soon enough. And that's just kind of a brief overview of some of the similarities and differences between the 2 games. I'll be posting some more videos later if you want to see some more specific content. I know I'm very excited to spend more time with Legends, and if you want to learn more about the game specifically, then go ahead and check my article in the description that in the current rendition of YouTube is below this video. And thanks for watching.